The two functions that we're going to be covering here are the left and find. First of all, the left. The left will look in any cell that you choose and count up and return the number of characters that you define starting on the left-hand side, hence the left function. So if I want to just extract the first name here for Max Klinger, let's go ahead and type in equals LEF, there we go. It returns the specified number of characters from the start of a text string. So to go ahead and start working on the function, hit the tab key to pop it open, and there's the syntax, and the first part's in bold, and it says go ahead and choose the text, which is going to be in this cell. And then to go to the next part of the syntax, hit the comma, and now that's in bold, and then it says of the text there, starting from left-hand side, how many characters do you want to return? Well, I just want max, so that's 1, 2, 3. Type in 3, hit enter. That's fine, except if you want to do a copy and paste by hovering over the lower right-hand corner to get the black autofill handle and double-click really fast. That only works for those first names that have 3 characters. So what we can do, let me go ahead and delete those and double-click inside the cell here, is that we can combine the left function with the find function. And how the find function works is that when it's looking in a cell, starting from the left-hand side, counting up, and it goes to a certain point that we ask it to find, which is going to be the delimiter, that space there, then we want it to stop and return everything up until that point. Make sense? So we've got the left function going on, and then for the number of characters that we want it to return, we're going to delete 3 because we want to add the find, and there we go. Find returns the starting position of one text string within another text string. Let's go ahead and with it selected, hit the tab key to pop it open, and then it says, okay, what text do you want to find? Well, open quotes, space, close quotes, to fulfill that part of the syntax, then comma, and then it says within what? Well, it's going to be within that cell, the text within that cell, so select it. And for now, we're going to ignore that last part of the syntax, and we can get away with that. So once we're done with that, the order of operation is first within those parentheses, then go outside and go to, well, there's the left-hand side. I need to go ahead and add the other part to it. So I have the first set of parentheses, then the second set, then go ahead and hit enter. Okay, there's max. So let's go ahead and select that in the lower right-hand corner, double-click really fast, and hey, that's sweet, because with the find function, it found the space and it stopped it, the left function, right at that point. And it returned everything from the left-hand side to that space. And so let's double check. Yes, everybody's first name. Nobody's being cut off. Now, if you're wondering about the other part of the function here, double click for the find. Let me go to the end here, where we answer the first 2 parts of the syntax here and not the last part. When you don't answer the last part, the start numbering, the default's going to be 1. So what that means is that it's going to go ahead and start looking for what we're finding, beginning with the first character. Now I could go ahead and add a comma, and let's see, we've got for max 1, 2, 3, then the character we're looking for is number 4. If I say go ahead and don't start looking for that space until after the first 5 characters and hit enter, we're going to get an error because it's looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's now looking at the K, and from the K point forward it's looking for a space and it can't find it, so we get a value error. So for the example here, we're just going to leave that alone. Double click and get rid of the 5 and the comma. The start number default is 1, and it's going to start with the first letter on the left hand side in the cell and start looking for that space. Now if you want to go ahead and keep this but without the function, just the values, because when you select the cell it's a result of a function, you can go ahead and click and drag to select it, right click on the selection, copy it, and then in the same selection right click and go to paste options and just choose values. Now when you do that, you can select any cell here, and up in the formula bar the function's no longer there, just the result of the function. Now when you double click inside the cell, notice that it's got Danny space. If you want to get rid of that space, well, let me hit the escape key. We need to go back to our function here. Let me double click, and at the end, just outside of the find function, we need to add a -1. So after it finds the space, we need to subtract 1 character, and that 1 character is going to be the space right there. Hit enter, then go ahead, hover over the lower right hand corner, double click really fast to do a quick autofill for the entire column here, and then of course right click to copy, right click to paste values 1, 2, 3, select it, double click, and the cursor is right next to it. There's no space because we subtracted it once it found the space. Cool. As a side note, in addition to the find function, there's also the search function. So if I go ahead and let's undo this so we can go back to the function here, hit the escape key and double click inside of here, and let me delete the find. So we got the left function, and we've got the cell that we want to look in starting on the left hand side and the number of characters we want it to return. We can find the space or we can search for the space. So if we type in search, there you go, it's right there. It says it returns the number of characters at which a specific character or text string is first found, reading left to right. So we can also use this in addition to the find, at least in my example here. They're really similar in that fashion. Let's go ahead and hit the tab key to pop open the function. And look, you got the find text. We want to find open quotes, space, close quotes, comma, to go to the next part of the syntax within this cell here. And then you can start, well, it's the same as the find function. By default, if we leave the start number alone, it's going to start looking for that delimiter there, that space, with the first character. If we type in again after the first 5 or 6 or 7 characters, you can see for Max that's not going to work, because after the first 3, the 4th character is the space delimiter, okay? So we'll leave it alone. Then we'll click on the outside of it and subtract the space that we just found, and then go ahead and close the parentheses there, hit enter, and there you go. Go ahead and double click in the lower right hand corner to do an autofill, and then you can right click the selection to copy, right click to select the paste values, and then when you double click, you get the same results as we did with the find function. So as far as this example goes, you can use the find or the search. They're very similar in regards with what we had to do here. Now you could say, hey, wait a second, what about that flash fill? Yes, that can work. Let me hit the escape key and delete all that and type in Max, hit enter, then type in the next one, Bob, and then automatically Excel can see the logic of what I'm doing and hit enter, automatically fills in everything for me. But keep in mind, again, as I said in an earlier training video, that this works perfectly, the flash fill, if you're next to the column that you're extracting information from. But if you want to extract it and it's not next to it, like you're over here, down here, or the data's somewhere else, and you want to extract it and get the results not in an adjacent column, then the functions will come in handy. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.